Good evening, YouTubers out there. As it is, here's a telekinesis speech lesson for you guys. And this one here, I'm going to be doing it on what to look for in having telekinesis. Hello, I am Reese Nabo, and I'm here to give you a speech lesson in about what to look for in telekinesis, because I know everyone has telekinesis. Depends on what the scene is like, and whatever is in the inside that shows in the outside. And again, if you watch the other telekinesis videos here on my channel as well too, talks about more about telekinesis as well too, and on other science, and as well as exercises as well too. Well, without any further ado, here is our speech lesson of the evening. I'll see you in just a few moments. Okay, the session has started. What you're about to see are some pics and some flashcards with the things that you should look for. Okay, so let's get to our first one that I have here on my list, and that is more tugs and attractions. And that's involving like having things like you feel more tugs than usual, and more attractions as well too. And that's in a way that that's to know that your body has the full potential of bringing out the telekinesis from within. So when you start noticing more tugs and more attractions, then you'll definitely really know that you have more powers on having telekinesis. For our second one, which is more strength. Because you're like getting exercises is also going to develop your strength and your core as well too. And when you start noticing that you're getting more stronger at it, that will mean that more objects will be more easier for you to move as well too. So when you start noticing that, you'll definitely know that you have that ability to move more different objects. That's nothing that you should look for in having telekinesis. Okay, so for our third one, which is what to look for in having telekinesis, is more easier to move objects. And that goes into your strength again, as well as the mind, because mind is over matter, and the matter is over the mind. And when you reach out in fate, and with all that inside of you, the energy, now you're able to move objects more easier. And that again is found in your core and in the spirit that is moving you. And that's another thing that you should look for in having telekinesis. And that brings us to our fourth one, which is another thing that you should look for in having telekinesis is a change in reps and patterns. That you'll start to experience that you're doing more reps than usual, that then it'll now start to pick up in rate as well too. The same goes with the patterns too, that it'll change, that you'll notice a change in your patterns in moving objects as well. And together, reps and the patterns will start to make like what we call a drive, a wave drive, and that will also help you not just to move stuff more easier, but it'll help your telekinetic abilities in regards to probably be moving more objects because of the reps taken and of the patterns, because in having telekinesis, that's what it is. It's part of the matrix. And same thing with that, we get the reps and the patterns in there as well. So that's nothing that you should look for in having telekinesis. And that brings us to our fifth one, and that is more control. So there you go right there. If you see yourself to have more control over objects, good for you, because more control, the better you have in moving objects as well. Being under control too. That way, you could just when you reach out, you have that control to move that one object. If there's, like, say, a majority of things, and you reach out, and some of the majority comes to you because you have that control. So that's another thing that you should also look for in having telekinesis, is more control over your objects and you. And that brings us to our sixth one, and that is change in feelings and emotions. Because it's coming from the body, and while going telekinesis, things can change, including your emotions, as well as feelings as well too, because telekinesis is energy, and inside of you, it can stir up things. It's kind of like mood swings a little bit. Hey, don't get me wrong, but You know, like, it can happen to anyone with that too, but it's also another thing that you should probably look for in having telekinesis, because it's a body that is trying to adapt to that energy in the inside, and that's going to probably make you go through the emotions as well as the feelings as well. And that's another thing that you should look for in having telekinesis. Now that brings us to our 7th one, and that is a change in the force fields around you. Force field, you can't even see it, but it surrounds you. Because there's energy too. And when you have it around you, and you're starting to do telekinesis, the force field is to protect you, as well as to help you energize your telekinetic powers. And so, when there's a change in that, it will better you. And then you reach out into that force field and go to that item. Lickety split, the item that you're going for will end up moving as well too. But also it is to help the body protect itself in your telekinetic state. And right there is nothing that you should also look for in having telekinesis. Same with at number 8. Which is your chakras start to elevate and fluctuate. And in this pic you can see on the sides, these are all the chakras that you're looking for, as well as the signs in regards into them. A perfect reality. I suggest you to print this one off, that we can have it posted on your fridge for a guide. There's even one for the third eye. Imagine that. Because once those start to fluctuate and elevate, means that it's going through changes. It's going to change so that you can adapt to its surrounding nature of the telekinetic force that's within inside you, coming outward. So once you notice that happening, then you'll definitely know that you have telekinesis in you. And from there, there's a little tip. You say that you'll probably end up with the occasional flu. Well, it will actually stop any attack to your immune system. You have the energy into you, you won't get sick. So that right there is a little interesting fact about having telekinesis. Okay, so carrying on to our 9th one, which is more visions and voices being seen or heard. So that will increase and decrease a little bit, because having this energy inside you get to hear other things too. It's kind of like calling for like an alien communication between them to you to them, and that way you get to hear voices like they're telling you something. And then it's just like a back and forth. It's like a communication. So make sure to listen to it, but not fully. Reason is, you want to make sure that you stay true to yourself, not those voices all the time, because it can drive you insane, right? So just to throw that into you guys. And for visions, you keep having those visions, well, that means that you have an active mind, which is good. Because in order to move things, you want to have an active mind. And that brings us down to our 10th one, and that is adapting to other objects. Okay, so you just seen two pictures that I just threw up on objects. So if, like, say, you adapt to the objects, meaning that things are now adapting to you, and that is now you're adapting to it, which is communication there too. So when it gets adapted, that's when the whole moving thing starts to become even more easier and picks up in more rate. So once it adapts to you, more power to move. And that now brings us down to our 11th one, which is your third eye that stays open more frequently. Because the third eye in the middle of the forehead, if you notice that it's staying open quite a bit, it's saying, feed me, I need more. So feed your third eye, because it has the power to move objects. Mind over matter, third eye, you've got it right there. So making sure to know about that one as well too. And it's also one thing you should look for in having telekinesis, which is the most mandatory one that you should know about. And that brings us down to our 12th one, and that is your inner magnet picks up in more rate. And that inner magnet happens to be your heart and your pulse. And that energy all in one creates this burst that you see right here in this pic. Here is a little example of what I mean, because I have it too, and I want to share with you right now. Well, you guys get to see it in its actual pure state. Okay, I have this butter knife here. You could do a spoon or anything like that. So I'm going to just go like this, rub it like this. Make sure that you prime it up. Watch, you can just rub this. Okay, see? It's not falling off because the magnet inside my body is making a stick onto my arm. And because it's picked up in rate, meaning more things will stick to you. So you can become Mr. Magneto. Because here's a movie that will have all the elements of telekinesis. Guess what movie? If you're thinking X-Men, you are correct. There's a bunch of telekinetics working in that film. I fully guarantee it is the best watch. And watch and find out which of them have been based on real life. Quite a bit of them too. Not just sci-fi, but it happens in real life. Some of them at least. And that takes us down to our 13th one, which is having other moving compulsions. Okay, so you just found out you have other moving compulsions. Hey, that's great because you don't want to do it all the time. You don't want to annoy your, spouse or whatever, your family or whatever like that. But those compulsions is the energy moving through you, and it comes subconsciously. And when you start noticing that, is another thing that can tell that you have a bit of telekinesis inside you, ready to come out. When somebody has compulsions, they're more acceptable to have a trace of telekinesis. But also, it is found in people who have telekinesis. And it's another thing I should look for in having telekinesis as well. Because having those compulsions, hey, I had a few compulsions in my time of moving things, and the I'm at now, moving objects, then that makes me happy. And does that make you happy too? If it does, okay, to give it 2 thumbs up, or more thumbs up to that one, because telekinesis is a blessing. Okay, moving down to our 14th one, which is more ability in magic. Here is just a few examples before I carry on. 1 and 2. Okay. Right there. There's a few examples in magic. So you'll increase your card skills in magic and other things in magic as well too, and it'll better your magic performance. Together, go hand in hand. And now that puts us down at number 15, and that is a very strong hand-eye coordination. Here's an example with this. This. Looking. See how coordinated that is? What's working there? Hand, eye, coordination. Because of it being stronger, you'll get more better at it. And that brings us to our 16th one, and that is a change in your spirit in you. So where the spirit moves with you, in you, out of you, all around you. and controlling and bettering it. And just, right there, so that's nothing to look for, is the change in your spirit inside of you. For our 17th one, which is having more communication with your items or objects. Because the more communication you give to it, it'll give to you like a feed, and it'll feed off that, and it will work the way it should, moving objects and other things as well too. So that's something you should also think look for in having telekinesis. Now, heading down to our 18th one, which is having more than one object moving next to you in attraction rate. Right next to you, things will happen. Next to it, because you have that magnet attached to it. And it picks it up, means it'll move to you in more rate. You'll pick it up. So that's something I used to look for in having telekinesis. And now down at number 19, which is a change in your mobility and speed. Because your mobility will change as well as your speed in the same process. Now down to our 20th one, which is having more arch magnetism, things being more attractive, moving towards you. Okay, so your magnet is being so active that when you're right next to it, things get more attracted to you in that, and that your arch one means it's like arching, it's reaching out to other things right next to you, and other things that were going over will now come towards you as well too. And that's another thing that you should look for in having telekinesis as well. And that brings us down to our 21st one, which is having even more sparks of core energy. So if you look down, here's the core right here. Okay. Energy is built from here up and even into the arms and the hands, as well as the feet. You have static electricity, because that's as much as like it, basically coming right out of your core body inside, out, projecting itself out. You know when you're in a shopping mall and or in the cart and you go, ow, that's stopping you contact with the cart. Boom, you get a spark. Exactly right there. That is internally coming outward. And that brings us to our 22nd one, which is having hardly any headaches or illness. Which is a good thing, because you don't need headaches to ruin your telekinesis. So no headaches. That's cool. Makes me happy thinking of that one. And that brings us down to our 23rd one, which is having more very strong, sharp visions. Because when you have sharp visions, your windows are really good to look at those objects. That when you look straight into them, they'll communicate back to you. Now down to our 24th one, which is your face will intensify. To push or move objects. Exactly. So you're making that face, hand out. We can move objects that way too, because once your face intensifies, the more power goes to your hand, and it will project itself out. And that brings us down to our 25th one, which is a raising in your body's temperatures. So you get cold and hot, you get all different kinds of fluctuations, so you have your chakras all in that same line. But it's all part of having telekinesis. But yeah, it feels great to have that. And again, enjoy the rest of the video. I'll finish up right now. Got 2 more left. I mean, just 1 more. And that is our 26th one, and that is feeling more energy field sources around you. Because the more energy fields that come into you, the more you're able to do other things, let alone the other things that you have done. And that concludes our session of this evening. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. It's from yours truly, Ray Snabo. Over and out, and have fun. Blessing people with your abilities to move things, as well as good luck with your telekinetic stuff. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click the bell for any notifications coming your way with new movies being posted almost every day. Making sure that your notifications are turned on so you can see what movies will be coming up. Don't forget to like the video, like, share, and subscribe. Because when you do, you'll be seeing amazing videos.